words of Alexander Pope, know then thyself, presume not God to scan. The proper study of mankind is man. This is what he said in the connection of our trying to know others, examining others, knowing others rather than our own self, rather than reviewing our own self. And this is what we can do by simple way. This is keeping quiet. Namaskar dear learners, welcome back, and today's topic is keeping quiet. Before we explain further, let's talk about the title itself. Literally speaking, keeping can be relishing, healing, reviewing and learning, and quiet for quietude, meditation, introspection and retrospection. Looking back, relishing the quietude, healing from meditation, reviewing through introspection, learning by retrospection. 4. Quietude for enjoying our own surroundings. We have many things to enjoy that lie in our surroundings, but we fail to notice them. So if we keep quiet for some time, we can enjoy the surroundings as well. Meditation for healthy existence, both physically, both mentally. We have many fright and fevers of life. We have many things that disturb us. So simple way to avoid all these things is meditation, yoga, and introspection for examining our own emotional state, looking into our own self, what we are doing. And last, retrospection for looking back on the things past. If we try to learn from the doings of our past, we have one way, that is to keep quiet, to learn from the past, from the remains of the dead, what we have done in the past. They can teach us many things, our shortcomings, our flaws, our misbehaves, our misdoings, all the things can teach us many things. However, we need to observe quietude in order to learn from the past. Next is the overview of the title. The title is, or the poem is, a call for introspection for human divide. We know that humans have divided themselves on many bases like color, creed, caste, nationality and language. It is a call for freedom from the shackles of discrimination, hatred, violence and exploitation. Exploitation of the natural resources, exploitation of the wild resources. And the poem is a call to attain exotic moment. What the poet means by exotic moment, it is a celebration of life itself. It is an antidote to war, prejudices and ill wills. We have many ill wills in our own self. We have many fright and fever. We have many prejudices. Now we'll summarize the poem and explain some of the expressions. Actually, the poem is not simply a preaching. It is an activity in which the poet involves himself. It starts with poet's appeal to count up to 12. Counting up to 12 has a deeper significance. Actually, we cannot start meditation all of a sudden. We need some preparation. We need to zero our thoughts. We need to focus on something. And counting up to 12 helps us do the same thing. Next thing he wants us to suspend is a verbal communication. We know that most of our dealings, most of our relationships are spoiled because of communication, barriers of communication. Sometimes we are not able to understand others. Sometimes we fail to make others understand us because of our words, because of our tone, because of the atmosphere, because of the moment. That does not suit. Next thing he wants us to suspend is physical activities. We know that we always remain indulged in one or another physical activity. We don't give simple time or slight time to our own self. We don't spare a little time for our own self. We fail to do yoga, we fail to meditate, we fail to review our thoughts, we remain in depression. We don't suspend our activities, so the poet wants us to suspend those activities so that we can spare some time, a few moments for meditation, few moments for keeping quiet. Next thing, it will affect. if we follow the instructions, follow the appeal of the poet, this will have an overall effect. Effect is to attain exotic moment. We will be able to attain exotic moment. What does he mean by exotic moment? It is a moment of heavenly bliss. We will feel like being in heaven. This will be without any hubbub of modern life. Hubbub of modern life means we always remain indulged in cutthroat competition. We want to outshine others only for its own sake. We want to advance ourselves only for its own sake. So this moment will be without any of this activity. And this moment will be a state of ecstasy. Ecstasy means a transportation, a feeling of transportation out of one's own self. Next, it will attain a togetherness, a feeling of togetherness. This will be a sudden and strange moment. This exotic moment or this feeling will be sudden because it will be new, it will be unexpected. It will be strange because we have never so far experienced such kind of moment in our own life. Indulged in all kinds of miscommunication, lack of communication or activities. So now we will be able to feel a sense of togetherness. We will feel that all of the people are feeling same. We will feel that all of the people, they have come on the same plane, they are thinking simultaneously, and they have developed a telepathy. They start understanding others, they start understanding their own self. Next thing, the appeal will have effect on humans. The poet has divided all the humans in three categories. People like fishermen. Fishermen, those who sustain their life on wildlife or destroying the lives of others. So if the fisherman understands this exhortation, this appeal, he will start forsaking the idea of killing others for his own sake. Next, the man gathering salt. Second type of people are those who sustain their life at the cost of their own physical health. They indulge in minting money, just counting the coins, but in doing that they have spoiled their own physical health. Third, we have warmongers, the people who indulge always in war, in warfare. Warfare like green war, war against nature, warfare like nuclear war or chemical war. We know that scientists or our politicians or our statesmen, they, in order to quench their own political quest, political thirst, they indulge in chemical wars. This is what we had seen in World War II, when Hiroshima and Nagasaki were destroyed completely by the atomic war. And if all the people, they understand the appeal of the poet, certainly they will stop all their activities. They will try to put on clean clothes. What does he mean by clean clothes or putting on clean clothes? That is, all these people will try to clean their conscience by the guilt they had done, by the misdoings they had done, by the wrong deeds they had committed. Because they will understand that they have attained victory, but this victory has no survivors. So the poet had talked about the magic of keeping quiet so far. However, he fears that his words may be misunderstood, that he professes, he teaches inactivity. Now he gives the clarification that he does not teach inaction, he does not profess inactivity life, he has no truck with death, he has no obsession with death, rather he is a poet of life. He wants to celebrate life, life in its fullness. And this life can be enjoyed, realized in fullness only by keeping quiet. Next is his exhortation. He exhorts us, he asserts us not to be single-minded. What does he mean by single-minded? Actually, in most of our dealings, we remain either biased, partial, preconceived, prejudiced, or selfish. We do many things only for our own self. So the poet wants us to mingle other people in our own life, involve other people in our own life. do something for the benefit of others. And if we do it, our own benefit lies in it naturally. And if we do this, if we follow the poet, result will be a huge silence. If all the people all of a sudden all together keep quiet, this will result in a huge silence. Huge silence means having a huge impact. This particular moment of silence will have a great impact in our life. If all the people simultaneously all together keep silence for some time, they would certainly understand other people. They would develop a telepathy. They would try to be together. They will relish a feeling of togetherness. And by this, we can solve our two problems. This will be the solution of our two problems. What are the two problems? Our inability to understand ourselves. In all our life or during our life, we have only one problem, that is we don't understand ourselves. We are not able to understand ourselves. So by remaining silent for some time, we can understand ourselves. Second problem is in our own life, we threaten ourselves with the thought of death. We'll die, we'll die, we'll die. So keeping quiet for some time will make us understand that death is a natural phenomenon. It will come when it comes. It is unavoidable, inevitable. It cannot be avoided in any way. Why not to enjoy life? Lastly, the poet clears his idea of quietude, of silence, by the example of earth. Earth, which seems to be dead, inactive in the season of autumn, but the earth is not dead in that season. It prepares for the happy time that is to come in the season of spring. So earth is apparently still, but it has a quality of resurrecting the life itself. Thank you. And please don't forget to subscribe the channel, to share the video if you like it. Thank you.